Hey everybody, I'm Craftsman Steve and this is the Family Craftsman. We're here at Cascade Tissue Group, which is a Canadian-based company that's here in Scappoose, Oregon, and really there's several other places that it is. But today we're going to find out what it is they do. How do you turn a giant roll of paper into a little roll of toilet paper, which is really convenient because I kind of got to go to the bathroom. We're also going to find out what kind of skills are involved with as far as the trade system goes here. We're going to find out what they all do and basically their process. So join me. I'm going to go link up with my contact, get some safety gear on because safety is always important, and we'll get started. So come on. Okay, we're now in the main facility where they do all the production for Cascade Tissue Group. I'm going to introduce you to Sean. This guy is in charge of all the safety and day-to-day operations here at Cascade. So, how's it going, Sean?
Good. How are you?
So you want to tell them what you do here?
Yeah, I'm the health and safety facilitator here at the tissue plant, here to help you make sure you guys are safe while filming this project.
Well, where do you want to take us first? How does this whole thing start?
Well, basically over on the left side of the facility we have lines 1 and lines 2. Over here we have line 3, so I'm thinking that we're going to go over to line 2, which is where they make toilet paper specifically.
Okay.
Line 1 makes a combination of jumbo roll toilet paper like at a gas station, and they also make hard wound towel like the crank at the gas station bathroom or something. You pull it up and down, they make those kind of paper towels as well.
Oh, let's go check it out.
All right, let's go check it out. Assembly line 1 that I was just talking about, so basically the paper unwinds and goes through the whole process and ends up getting packaging. We can go through that process a little more specifically.
I gotta say, this place is massive. It took us about 3 hours just to walk this far. Just joking. All right, let's go see how this whole thing starts. Okay, so I'm here with Alex, and he is the shift lead, the master tech for this place. He does everything from toilet paper to paper towels to pretty much anything you can think of that's tissue related. So you want to tell me how you got started in all this?
So I got started in this before I got hired here. I was working in a body shop, working on cars. Just wanted to try something different and just try to broaden my skill set. So found out through the community that they were opening a big converting plant here in Scappoose. So just came here and applied before this building was even up. It was just an empty lot, so applied here.
Do you have any idea what you'd be doing when this place finally got put up?
Running some type of equipment, I knew that, but applied here, trained at other facilities until this plant got fully built, so that was a great opportunity. Because before this, I've had no production experience or working in a warehouse and stuff like that, so it was great to get the opportunity to.
That's awesome. So they hired you, they trained you, they put you through some sort of training evolution where you learned how to work on all these machines and basically run the process.
Correct.
Right? That's actually really cool. A lot of good companies out there will do that. So it's a great alternative to going to a vocational school or something of that nature. A lot of companies will train you how to do your job if you put forth the effort. And I think that's classic example of that right there, is that if you put forth the effort and you continue to want to advance, there's only one way you can go, right?
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yep, definitely.
So I think that's awesome. Let's see. Are those the rolls?
Yeah. Those are.
You guys see this. So you see those giant rolls back there standing up? Can you zoom in on that? We're going to turn those giant rolls into toilet paper, into little things of toilet paper, right?
Yep. That
thing turns into that. But I don't know, I may need one of those. I had a bean and cheese burrito from the gas station on the way over here, so I'm going to need one of those in a bathroom. Right back. So behind me, they're picking up one of these giant rolls. They're going to bring it over here. You can see how they work that process. What's amazing is that in this factory, there are so many little skilled jobs you can have, like this guy here, who's running a piece of heavy equipment inside this facility. There's also crane operators, all the way down to machinists. It's amazing here. as you can see, this is one giant roll of toilet paper. I got an uncle that can go through that in about a day. But most people, they don't go through it that fast. Let's go see what happens is once you go from this roll into little roll. Okay, so tell me about the start, the finish, how do you do this?
So after the material handle on the clamp truck drops it off, we come back here, which is called prepping the roll. We take the plastic, outside plastic off. We come over here and examine the sheets, make sure there's no holes or tears in it, which take off a couple layers. Put cord chucks in, which the cord chucks is for the crane to hook up on to bring them into the unwind. So, and you can definitely feel the difference. That doesn't feel like really the softness of toilet paper right now.
Wouldn't be one that I'd want to put my tushy on.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you go from this very uncomfortable sandpaper toilet paper to something a little softer, a little nicer?
Which I'll show you over here. You want to keep going, or you want me to?
Just keep going. Just go ahead and give me a tour.
All right. So this line does all the bath tissue, toilet paper you'll see in everyday homes.
Okay.
Most toilet paper, if you guys didn't know, you could either have 1-ply paper or 2-ply. Means 2-ply means 2 rolls are running at the same time. Single-ply, you're only having one sheet in there.
Do people actually use single-ply?
Yes.
Who uses single-ply?
Yep.
Ah.
Single-ply. Yep. We make double-ply and single-ply.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see some of this machinery here. So you
Yep. So after this, we got.
See where it gets separated off the roll right here.
Yeah, we got 4 back stands with four big of these rolls in. So right now we're making double ply. So 2 of the rolls are going to be running at the same exact time, while the other 2 are sitting there. So this machine never has to stop at all. This can continue to run because you have 2 to, after this roll's done running out, it'll actually tape itself to the next roll. So this
all automated.
Yeah, so this can run as long as it wants to if you never have an issue with it.
So I got to ask, how many rolls of toilet paper do you guys think that you run through these machines per year? Do you have an idea of how many? No?
Per year?
Millions and millions?
Yeah, I say a 24-hour period on a good day. I'm saying rough estimate 30, a little bit less of these rolls in a 24-hour period.
Wow, 30 big rolls per day could be run through these machines. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's a lot of clean butts.
Yep.
All right.
Definitely. So we'll continue. So this is all one section with all the rolls. They'll all run through all these black rollers that the paper's threading, that's going over. Those are called guide rollers. That's what puts tightness and tension on, so you don't have wrinkles in the paper or anything. It pulls it all tight. They're all adjusted off manual speeds that you can put into the computer to tell this part of the machine run a bit faster, pull. So have a nice, no slack, nice and tension sheet going through the whole machine. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, you don't want wrinkle plugging.
Yeah, definitely. So after that, goes through quite a bit of section. Every section has its own control, its own tension to get the sheet nice and flat before it comes inside the rewinder, which I'll show you a little bit of the rewinder. That prevents static. It's static wire. So if you have static on this paper, especially running through all this, the paper gets really staticky and wants to stick to stuff. So static wire prevents it from sticking.
So in case you missed it, you probably saw that piece of tinsel running through there. It looks like a holiday decoration. It's actually a static wire that keeps the paper from basically plugging the static wire. Which is kind of cool. You don't want that happening.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
So after we come from the back stands, this is where the two rolls of paper meet. And as you can see, one roll goes to this silver roller up top. That's called an embosser. And if you look closely, you can see the actual print. Like if you look at a roll of toilet paper in your house, it's not just plain flat. It actually has like a marking, a symbol, or anything like that. Yeah, that's what it does. It goes through that roll and actually imprints it into the sheet of paper.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's a top one for this machine, and the other one is actually running through a second embosser. I don't know, right here. Yeah, there's another imprinted roller right there on the bottom where this web, if you follow it. So after it goes through the embosser to get the pattern, and actually that's like the first step of when I showed you before, the feeling of the paper. The emboss, either you can squeeze harder on it or raise it up. That will depend how soft it is too. Because if you're pressing hard on paper with that,
So what it does is basically creates a little air bubble.
kind of, yeah, a little
paper.
effect, and that makes it
Right.
the raised filling and the softness or hardness of the roll.
Interesting.
So after it comes through, the two sheets, if you can see, they actually come together on this top roller. You can't see it from this angle, but there's about 15 rollers up top that actually rotate on a silver big roller, so it actually pretty much fuses the sheets together.
Okay.
Which I will show you when we get to the rolls, how so they don't come apart, so your two plies don't come apart when you see toilet paper your house. They stick together. And then after it goes through there, right behind this white dust fan that we have right here, there's actually, it's called a big helical roll. It runs the whole width of the paper, and it actually has blades in there. So that's how you get sheets. When you unroll toilet paper, you get sheets. That thing's rotating, and that has like 12 knives. It's rotating that fast, and it actually,
So it's like a serrated blade that punctures little holes in it so you can do the tear on it.
yeah, one side, this side on this side has flat blades on it, and then on the other side of the paper, on the other side of this, it has actually perf blades that is like a blade, but it actually has the texture where you can pull it apart, and those meet. Every time the blade comes around, it hits that to make the sheet.
Kind of always wondered how you guys did that.
So after that is the actual section where we actually use these cores. So the cores will actually, which I'll show you real quick, they trickle down the core hopper and actually come into here, which I'll show you guys this. When it's ready to actually make a new log, which we call it before it gets cut into rolls, cores shoot through this from the core hopper. So after it gets kicked out, it actually goes through, which is called a tail sealer. So when you buy a roll at the store, the tail's glued on the outside, so it's not unraveling or anything. If you ever noticed it, it's actually putting a wire of glue comes up, glues it, and goes through rollers to actually seal it. And then if you watch logs come down, there's a nice sealed tail. And this is called an accumulator. It just goes through this cycle so it has enough time to actually dry before it gets cut by the saw.
So this machine can do what? 720 rolls per hour total?
Yeah, about there. Yeah.
720 rolls per hour. This machine can pump out. We're talking individual rolls, so let's put these up. So you can run 20 of these logs per hour, which comes out to about 700. Yeah, 720 rolls. That's pretty impressive. That's just one line. All right, so I'm here with Adam. He is a millwright at this facility. Could you tell us about what you do here? What is a millwright around here?
We fix and maintain the equipment, preventative maintenance, breakdown calls, welding, fabricating, troubleshooting.
So you pretty much make sure that everything here runs smooth
Yeah,
and doesn't seize up and
keep the
slow down.
plant running, keeping us making money.
Hey, probably one of the most important jobs here, I gotta imagine.
Yeah.
So how did you become a millwright? What did that entail?
I started off as a welder fabricator. I started off in a fab shop doing on the saw in Sawyer, right?
Yeah.
And practiced every break, stayed after work, practiced welding, got 6 certified within 6 months. Got on with a contractor, started being a hand for downtime. Got on at the steel mill, and then in the fab shop, did about a year in there. And then I was helping the millwrights on the weekends, so they transferred me over there and just made that my permanent spot. I got away with doing no apprenticeship, which I kind of regret. It's got schooling, right? Like a lot of stuff you can learn in there, but the reality is hands-on training is the best.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I'm actually a welder as well. I went to school for it at PCC, but I went to school to learn how to weld and do metal fabrication. And it's really an awesome job to have. You come right out of it with a high-paid position somewhere. You know, everybody's looking for welders. But what I love about this is that if you guys noticed, he didn't just take the job he had and just go, okay, I know how to weld. I'm never going to do anything but weld. He went and turned it into something completely different, something big.
Yeah.
And you can too. You just got to motivate yourself and get out there and do it. So I love that. That's pretty much how I started in all my craftsmanship, whether it be welding, woodworking, all that stuff that I have. So I think that's fantastic. All right, well, you want to show us something, maybe some maintenance or whatever you guys have? You want to show us some of what you do, or describe it, or? You kind of did describe.
Or fabricating wise, I got something I just made over there that we're
all right, let's do that.
Out. So this is my latest project right here. It's a slabbing station, so when the cores are spent, they come in with just like an inch of paper still on them.
Yeah.
So they'll set them on here, and then they slab them, and they transfer them into there. Yeah.
So you just designed this? Was this something that you had in your head, or?
Yeah, I can't draw stuff out on paper very well. It's all up here, right? I see it in my head and I build it. That's the way.
Totally get that.
The way I work.
But this is pretty amazing. So he's using his welding skills and you know, some real trade craft here. Doing this, what is this, 2-inch bar?
1 by 2 and 1 by 1.
Yeah. So I mean, this is like some heavy steel that he's been welding together to make something that makes production here just that much easier, and that much better.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key trait to have, I think, as a trade worker, period.
Yeah, it's efficiency, right? You got to
Absolutely.
make this process more efficient, figure out ways to make it safer for production, save time. Time is money, you know. Every bit of downtime we have for any little thing is dollars spent or dollars wasted. So the faster we can make the process, the safer and more efficient we can make it, the more money we're all making in the end.
I absolutely agree with that. A little trickle-down economics, right? Right. So what got you into all this? I mean, what caused you to get into the electronics world?
I started as an aviation mechanic in the Navy. So I was 2002 to 2008. I was aviation machinist, and I think that kind of opened the door for me a little bit. Then I started going. When I got out of the Navy, I was like, well, I'm going to go to school for engineering. You know, like a lot of people think, like I need to go to school, get a degree, and all that. But then I got a job for driving a forklift for another company, and they offered me a position as a maintenance technician. And I said, of course, I'll do that, since I used to turn wrenches in the Navy. And from there, they offered me an electrical apprenticeship. They kind of required me to do it, and I said, of course, I'll do that too.
So how long is the apprenticeship?
Mine was only 2 years. So a 2-year electrical apprenticeship for an LME, and that got me in the door here because I've dabbled in a lot of different stuff with PLC programming, just automation with level devices like radar and stuff like that. So I've only been an electrician for 4 years, but I've been turning wrenches for 17 years.
Yeah,
so that's just some perspective, and you know.
With the maintenance background, really helps you out as far as this goes, because you already kind of know the simple mechanics.
Yes,
of how things work.
yes,
So that's
correct.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Is that little skills that you require. You know, it may not have any, what you think, any kind of bearing between, you know, maintenance and electrician, but in reality, every single skill set you have can help out those other skill sets. So that's why I'm always saying, you should always be learning.
Yeah,
Always.
Yeah. If you stay just like these machines, I mean, they become obsolete pretty quickly. I would say that, I mean, stacking your knowledge as much as you can. If you don't keep learning, then you become obsolete yourself. You know, you gotta stay in it. It's not a lot of schooling in a semester at a time. It's just one class consecutively. You know, just following a series. So just one class per term isn't that big of a deal, you know. And it is stack over time, and pretty soon, before you know it, I mean, time flies. You're done, and then
2 years is nothing.
it's nothing.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years is nothing for sure. So.
And I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, what's the reward for this? I mean, is it a good paying job? Is it benefits, all that?
Yeah, 6 figures. 6-figure job.
2 years of training, plus background in maintenance with the military. And that does help. Absolutely. I'm military as well. It always helps. But 2 years of training as an apprentice, and then you become journeyman, correct?
Yeah, a journeyman LME, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then from there, you're talking 6 figures a year, plus benefits, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would say you wouldn't start that way, but you know, since I've been doing this,
it's easy to get there.
But it's easy to get there, and then just start stacking your knowledge. You should only get paid what you're worth, and over time, like you said, the more you learn, you know, these little jobs. I've only been here for 2 months now, and I had a big problem with these earlier today, where I had to, you know, get them situated, reprogram, and stuff like that. So, you know, you can learn quickly. Just keep rolling with it and keep learning. So
become indispensable to your company, and they'll pay you anything you want.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
That's fantastic. So these things are, you said they're laser guided?
Yeah, laser guided vehicles. So the acronym is LGV. And what that means is there's a laser on top of there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little black laser rotating.
Oh yeah, so very, very tip top of these things. It looks like a little coffee can up there.
Yeah, they're using these posts on here. There's a little white post. They're using those as a reflector to tell it where it is in the plant, so it knows where to drive and how to navigate. So there's actually like kind of a grid based on, like, you know, encoders on the wheels and that kind of stuff for these LGVs to basically drive themselves around, or knows where it is. And they'll know to come pick up pallets here at the pallet station. So when one of these lanes gets low, it'll feed them new pallets so that they can grab them, load them full of material. And then once that's calling and saying, hey, I got 2 full loads for you, come drive up and pick me up, it'll do that as well. And it'll deposit them right here down at the wrapper. So really there's no human interaction outside of me from, you know, finished product to the warehouse shipper right there, grabbing them, taking them away.
So that helps reduce any kind of health problems, right? I mean, it's everything a lot cleaner and more sanitary.
Sure, yeah.
And also any kind of mistakes. Less human error, right?
Yeah, it's a safety concern too. No traffic,
Less
you know, no foot traffic.
You know, this thing's not going to fall on you if no one's there.
Right.
You know, you're not going to get a stack of boxes falling on you because you're all the way over here and it's working all the way over there.
Right.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's amazing. And what I love about this is no matter what kind of equipment you need out there, even if it's a laser-guided vehicle, you still need people to maintain and ensure that they work correctly. So, learn these skills because they are useful. And the more skills you learn,
that's exactly right. Like I told you, I worked for this other company driving a forklift. Well, guess what job doesn't exist here anymore? A forklift job, or 2 or 3 of them. And so you always want to stay ahead of that curve and just say, I need to learn the other side of it. There's going to be machines everywhere, but there's still going to have to be people working on them. And I think that's people need to really consider that. And there's such a reward working with your hands too, and just solving a problem. I mean, it feels good. And the money is great, sure. Yep. But the real satisfaction comes from being able to fix things. I think that's what keeps people in the trades happy. You know,
like clean money.
Yeah, clean money.
Money.
Yeah.
I'm here with Brian in the quality control lab, and this is like a legit lab. How do you quality control a roll of toilet paper? I gotta ask.
So we do a lot of measurements in here. I'll test like our tensile strength. I'll test our softness. I'll test our thickness. Also check the full roll length to make sure that the customer is getting everything that they asked for.
So how many squares are on a roll? I've actually often
it all depends.
pondered
like
this.
Our some of our bath tissue has 1,000 sheets. So you know, depends on what you want to pay for.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, makes sense. So how do you do that? How do you test for like softness and tensile strength?
So over here we have a softness tester. Basically, I will put in our basis weight and our thickness, and this thing, it actually uses a little microphone speaker, and it'll measure the how loud it rubs against that, and basically give me a softness reading, and I use that to correlate with other data that I have, and yeah.
All right, and so then the tensile strength, I imagine that's where the weights come in.
No, that's over here. So this is the tensile tester. Well, strength pull tester, I would call it that. So basically I would just take a sample, like a 2-inch sample, has to be a certain size when I test them, and throw it in here. Perforation strength, and it is the strength of the full sample too.
Huh.
So, then I'll get a reading and be able to tell the customer, hey, we can meet this specification for you.
So you
Whatever
basically one out of each batch gets brought in here and you get to test it out and make sure that they're getting a quality product.
Right.
That's pretty unique. I honestly had no idea something like this went on with toilet paper. So this is it makes me feel a little bit better that someone's actually looking out for my hind end. What kind of training was involved in doing this? So you said earlier off camera that you did criminology.
Right. Yeah.
And
so I have a degree in that. I have 12 years of experience at a couple other facilities doing lab tech quality work.
So it's just something that you've...
It's just something that I got into early on, like when I was younger, and then built up like years of experience.
Yeah.
And then was able to transfer to stuff.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us today. I am Craftsman Steve here with the Cascade Tissue Group. We got to turn one of these giant paper rolls into this little guy here that pretty much everyone knows what that is, right? But we got to see heavy equipment operators. We got to see a crane that can pick up thousands and thousands of pounds and move it across the warehouse. We got to see electricians who make laser guided vehicles. What? We got to see laser guided vehicles being run. We got to see a millwright who just got done basically building and inventing a little roller rack. I mean, that's pretty cool. So there's always, if you have a skill, there's always something you can do, always a job you can have, and you can always accrue more and more skills to add to that toolbox. All right, thank you guys for joining us, and see you next time on The Family Craftsman.